Ethan, no, you don't! Stand aside.
Guys, welcome to a classic film review of The Searchers from 1956, starring John Wayne, Natalie Wood and Jeffrey Hunter. Now, this was directed by Hollywood legend John Ford, and it sees Civil War veteran Ethan Edwards, played by Wayne, return to his frontier home where he's greeted by his happy family. However, tragedy strikes when a local tribe attacks the farm, brutally murders his brother and sister-in-law and kidnaps their young daughter Debbie. So Ethan and his part Cherokee adopted nephew then saddle up and set out in search for her. Now, The Searchers is widely regarded as one of the greatest westerns ever made, if not the greatest on some lists. It's held in high regard by filmmakers from Steven Spielberg to Martin Scorsese, and the film's told across an epic canvas, but it remains a very personal tale of revenge and redemption that goes to some pretty dark places. Let's take a look. Now, I've been watching quite a few John Wayne films recently, and I feel like he's always been a bit of an anti-hero. His characters are heroic, no doubt, but his characters are often stubborn and unshakable in their beliefs and so sure of their convictions that they kind of steamroller over everyone else. I think his character of Ethan Edwards here in The Searchers takes these traits and wraps them in a darkness that remains quite shocking almost 70 years after its 1956 release. So Wayne's character here arrives home in 1868 after serving in the Confederacy and appears at his family's Texas ranch and is welcomed by his brother Aaron and his wife Martha and their 3 children and the part Cherokee son they've adopted, played by Jeffrey Hunter. Now, no sooner as Ethan settles in, a raiding party led by the ferocious chief Scar kills most of the family whilst he is out and abducts the 2 youngest girls, Debbie and Lucy. So the story is initially John Wayne, Jeffrey Hunter and Harry Carey Jr.'s Brad, who is Lucy's boyfriend, out on a mission to retrieve the 2 girls. And now, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that very early on, Lucy is found dead by Ethan, and so it ends up being just Ethan and Martin pushing on and following the Comanches' trail.
Critter will just keep coming on. So we'll find him in the end, I promise you. We'll find him. Just as sure as the turning of the earth.
Now, I'm sure that there are probably about 100 westerns that are essentially rescue missions or revenge missions, but what The Searchers has in Ethan Edwards is a former soldier with a dark heart. Edwards wants to find Scar and kill him, of course, but he also wants to find Debbie and kill her too. His belief is that once a white girl is taken by the Comanche, she's no longer white, and therefore her life as a Comanche squaw isn't worth living. And so we have this uncomfortable mission of mercy in a way, with Hunter's Martin sticking with Ethan so that he can prevent him from carrying out his mission. So the 1950s produced so many great westerns, some of the best the genre has seen, but few of them are as psychologically dark as The Searchers. The hero that we're given here is a racist, filled with an unshakable bitterness that was caused by years of war and the death of his wife at the hands of the Comanche. He does things here that only the villains of other Wild West tales do. Shoots men in the back, mutilates the corpses of his enemies, attempts to murder one of his own relatives, and even shoots out the eyes of a dead Comanche warrior.
What good did that do you?
By what you preach, none. But what that Comanche believes, ain't got no eyes, he can't enter the spirit land, has to wander forever between the winds. You get it, Reverend. Come on, blanket head.
And it's all some of John Wayne's finest work. The film's also a dark buddy cop movie in a way, as he and Jeffrey Hunter's half-breed, as Edwards calls him, spend literally years, about 7 I think, searching the land for Scar and the now grown Debbie, piecing together clues and bumping into a variety of characters along the way. The cast here, by the way, is populated by acting legends like Ward Bond as the Reverend Captain Samuel Johnson Clayton, and there's Vera Miles, Antonio Moreno, and even the Duke's son Patrick Wayne playing a young lieutenant. Now, what's interesting here also is that the villain Scar isn't just a bloodthirsty savage, but a mirror of Wayne's character, who has suffered his own tragedies at the hands of the white man. Now, when I first saw The Searchers, I thought Scar had been played by a Native American actor, but then went on to learn he's played by German-born American actor Henry Brandon. Now, of course, I've not mentioned Natalie Wood properly yet. This was coming a year after Rebel Without a Cause, and Wood doesn't get the most screen time here and fewer lines, seeing as she's been raised as a Comanche. But when she is on screen, she's absolutely a presence. Wood was only about 17 years old here, but already a stunning young lady. Now, as I've rewatched The Searchers more and more over the years, I've really come to appreciate Jeffrey Hunter's role as Martin Pawley. Now, he's the character who has the biggest and most obvious arc here. He's young and naive when the men first saddle up and ride out, but as the years pass, he grows up and is able to stand up to Wayne's character and go toe-to-toe when needs be.
What kind of a man are you anyway?
She's been living with a buck. She's not that
Shut your
bad.
dirty mouth!
I hope you die.
That'll be the day.
Now, having Jeffrey Hunter in your Western, I'm sure, would certainly guarantee some extra female ticket buyers. So Jeffrey Hunter is another one of those actors who never really hit the heights that you would have expected from him. He, of course, played Jesus in Nicholas Ray's King of Kings in 1961 and played Captain Pike, the first captain of the Enterprise in the first Star Trek pilot, before William Shatner stepped in. Now, the events of The Searchers play out in the awesome vistas of Monument Valley. Here, John Ford and his cinematographer, Winton Hawk, capture not only the huge open landscapes that have become synonymous with Western movies, but they also highlight the sense of echoey isolation, the feeling of being miles from home, the Utah landscape being both stunning and ominous. Now, John Ford made something like 140 movies throughout his career. He'd been working since 1917, so by the time he made The Searchers, he was already in his 60s and a true master of his craft. And if this isn't his greatest movie, then I'm not really sure what is. It's got everything you want from a Wild West adventure. It has the shootouts, horse riding, those pesky engines, and even a sprinkling of romance. But like all great Westerns, that's just the container. Here, the container that holds the weight of a damaged man with a past of violence and heartbreak. A man on a mission of rescue and of personal redemption. Go check it out.
Sure, they was here. And now they're out there, waiting to jump us.
We'll keep on going. You want to quit, Ethan?
That'll be the day.